The 34th Discourse. O you who are also attached to your interests in this world and to those long-term expectations of yours. The appointed moments of death will very soon be upon you. They will intervene between you and the fulfillment of those expectations, so you had better act now, without delay, if you wish to forestall the advent of those final moments. You should be prepared for death to show its face quite suddenly. Illness is not a necessary precondition of death. Iblis is your enemy, so you must pay no attention to any advice he may offer. Do not place your trust in him, for he is not someone who is worthy of trust. You must always be on your guard against him. He wants to see you die in a state of heedlessness, of sinful disobedience and unbelief. Do not be unmindful of your enemy, for he does not hesitate to wield his sword against anyone, from a champion of the truth to an atheistic heretic. Only a few rare individuals escape his onslaught. He caused your father Adam, peace be upon him, and your mother Eve to be expelled from the Garden of Paradise, and he is fully committed to the task of ensuring that you will never be allowed to enter therein. He is always prompting you to acts of disobedience, sinful errors, unbelief, and rebellion. All sins, in fact, are attributable to him, after the decree of Allah, exalted is he, and his predestination. All creatures are subject to being tried and tested, apart from those servants of Allah who are sincerely devoted to his service, for over them Iblis has no dominion. In some cases, however, he may cause even the likes of these to suffer pain. When this is required by the decree of destiny, a blind eye is turned and he is allowed to have dealings with them, although his actions affect the physical body, not the heart and not the innermost being, in matters pertaining to this world, not in matters pertaining to the hereafter, and only in relation to other creatures, not in relation to the Creator. Almighty and glorious is he. It is most often by way of worldly interests and the lower self that Iblis gains access to creatures. The pursuit of this world is a blazing fire. You must concentrate on that which really contributes to your welfare, and which makes you fit to work for what comes after death. Efforts to control your lower selves will contribute to your welfare. Attending to your own faults will contribute to your welfare, but attending to the faults of other people will not contribute to your welfare. You must remember death, and work for what comes after death. As the Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, has said, the shrewd person is one who keeps his lower self under control and works for that which shall be after death, while the incompetent person is one who follows his lower self and its whims, yet wishes for forgiveness from Allah. You must train your lower selves to behave with modest humility toward Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, and toward the true believers among his creatures. You must insist that they pay the dues they owe to Allah, Almighty and glorious is he. You must subject them to critical examination and call them to account, in accordance with the practice of the righteous. Consider the example set by Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah the Exalted be well pleased with him. When the night grew dark around him, he would direct his attention toward his lower self, saying to it, "What have you done for your Lord Allah, Almighty and glorious is he? What have you accomplished for his sake?" Then he would pick up a kind of whip and use it to administer self-flagellation as a humiliating chastisement before he went about his business. He always exacted respect for the rights of Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, but he also demanded more from his lower self in the way of service to him, for he is numbered among the great ones, the champions of truth, the righteous, those drawn near to their Lord, the transmitters of the prophetic tradition, those who have been assured that the Garden of Paradise awaits them. The righteous are distinguished by the fact that they call their own lower selves to account, as well as by their righteous conduct and their worshipful obedience. As for you, since you exact no such reckoning from your lower selves, you can hardly expect to derive any benefit from them. O Allah, protect us from our own lower selves, from our passionate desires and our devils. Include us in your company, and exclude us from your sudden affliction. Bring our hearts close to you before death, and grant us the special meeting before the general meeting. Ameen.